Hey guys, we are in the basement today. Yes, today guys, we are gonna do part number 9 of the Atari Quantum restoration. Yes, it's true. We are going back to the garage, and I know it's been a few weeks. We're gonna get caught up in this episode right here. And actually, I'm very excited because by the end of this video right here, that cabinet is gonna be 1,000% done. Yes, I am not kidding. We're gonna have all of the cabinet and woodworking and stuff all done by the end of this video. And also, we're gonna do something kind of fun, something I've never done before because I picked up a rivet gun, yes. And we're gonna rivet the speaker grill. We're gonna start out doing that in this video here. And also, we're gonna address the T-molding, trim it down because we added laminate, which made the cabinet a little thicker. So we're gonna trim down some 7/8 of an inch T-molding. Then also, I wanna address the coin door, put that thing all back together, put it on the cabinet, and then really just assemble the entire cabinet. Put all the metal parts on, the marquee, the glass, and by the end of the video, we're gonna be looking at a completely done Quantum, and I cannot wait. So anyway, enough of that. Let's just go to the garage and get to work on the Atari Quantum. All right, guys, we are back in the garage, and yes, we're gonna get back to work on the Atari Quantum in this video. And guys, I am excited because this is gonna be a fun video, actually, because we're gonna do a lot of the fun stuff, okay? Because by the end of this video, we're gonna be looking at a cabinet that is done. That's right, done, ready to be populated with our monitor and our power supply and the PCB and the harness and all that stuff. Really, all of the cosmetics, all of the cabinet work is gonna be completely done by the end of this video, and we're gonna be really looking at a Quantum, and I can't wait. So anyway, let's kind of quickly review here, because in the last video, what did we do? Well, we fully addressed the control panel, okay? We rebuilt this. This is actually a reproduction. We put the overlay on. We rebuilt an original Atari trackball from a millipede. We put our cone buttons on here. So this is all ready, and I think it's gonna feel really great, actually. So, and then also in the last video, we addressed all the metal parts. You know, we sanded them, we painted them, and all that good stuff. And then also, we did put T-molding on, and we put 3/4 of an inch T-molding, which is a black, smooth T-molding, which is what Atari would have put on this game from the factory. Now, I had a bunch of you guys comment and say, hey, John, you should maybe put blue or white T-molding on this. Well, yeah, I guess that would look cool. But you know, guys, I really like to put what Atari would have put on here, and they did a black, smooth T-molding, and to me, it just looks really finished that way. But we did use 3/4 of an inch, which again is the right size, but because we had, we put some laminate on here, it's sticking out just a little bit beyond the T-molding, and it's kind of bugging me, so I'm not sure what to do. We may or may not in this video put 7/8 of an inch T-molding on, because I did pick some up. And if we do that, it's basically gonna hang out a 1/16 of an inch on this side and a 1/16 of an inch on the inside. And so on the outside, that 1/16 of an inch is gonna really take care of the laminate, but it's gonna create a bit of a problem on the inside. And I've heard from other guys that it could cause a problem with the control panel opening because it's gonna hit the T-molding. So we'll see what we're gonna do about that. But the one thing I wanna do here right away, and we kind of left off with this on the last video, is I wanna address the speaker grill. Okay, now in the last video I kind of had some trouble because I thought that the holes for the speaker grill, which are these 4 holes right here, lined up perfectly with the speaker, and that's not the case at all, actually. And so in the last video, you know, I tried getting this all to line up, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll just drill some new holes in the speaker and it'll line up with this. Well, I was wrong, guys. I actually ended up drilling a hole through the speaker itself. I'm hoping that this does not cause an issue. If it does, we'll have to get a new speaker. You know, it's a 6x9, 8 ohm speaker. I think it's a fairly common speaker. But anyway, let's talk about the rivets, okay? Because I did pick up a rivet gun, okay, and some rivets, okay? And I found a really great match for the rivets, okay? So Atari originally used these black rivets on the front to hold the speaker grill on, okay? And here's actually the original rivet that we removed, okay? And it's a black head here. It's actually 3/8 of an inch is the diameter of the head, okay? And it's a 3/16 inch shank, okay? So this is the shank right here. And then the depth of the rivet itself is about 1/2 of an inch, okay? A little bit less maybe, but you can kind of compare the one I picked up on Amazon to the original. Now the original one here was kind of smushed into itself, so it's a little bit shorter, but in general, this is a very, very, very close match to the original, okay? So the rivets that I picked up, I got them on Amazon. They are 3/16 shank, 3/8 of an inch head, and the depth of them is 1/2 inch, okay? And the cabinet itself is 3/4 of an inch. So this is only 1/2 of an inch, so it's not gonna go all the way through. Okay, so I did do some tests here because I've never used a rivet gun before. And by the way, the rivet gun I picked up was the Astro Pneumatic Tool Company 1423. And I got this on Amazon. It was like $26. The reviews were all really good. So I've been practicing my rivet skills over here, okay? And I'll show you guys how this works because I didn't want to do it the first time on the cabinet. And so let's just drill a hole here. And I'm using a, I don't know what size bit this is, about 1/8 of an inch or so. So let's drill a hole, okay, and we'll do one together, kind of a practice run here. And the one thing I did discover while doing this is that the metal tip of this rivet gun was scratching up the black, and I found out that if I put some tape over it, it'll prevent the scratching, okay? So if we just kind of go like this, like so, and then put a rivet through there. So anyway, let me show you guys how this works. So the hole that we just drilled is right here. So if we put our rivet in there like so, and you could put the rivet in the wood or in the gun. I've done it both ways. So what you do is you put the rivet in the hole, or you could put it in the gun first, okay? And then we want to open up the gun like so, okay? And then we're gonna just kind of put our rivet gun on there like that, okay? See that? And then it takes about 3 pulls here. So 3 pumps, okay? So 1, 2, and then 3, and there we go. And so our rivet is in just like so. Pretty simple. And again, the tape I found does not scratch it up. You can see over here, I think some of these other ones I did not have tape on, and it kind of scratched up the black. And the rivet does not go all the way through. It's expanding somewhere in the middle of the wood, which is what Atari would have done. And by the way, the gun comes with different tips right here, and there's different sizes for the different size shanks of the rivet. So the rivets that we're using, again, are 3/16 of an inch shank, which is this metal part here, the shaft that's grabbing onto. See how this works actually? It's kind of neat. So on the end here is like this little silver ball, okay? And that silver ball is connected to this, right? And so what the rivet gun's doing is it's pulling and pulling and pulling. And as it's pulling, this ball here is being pulled into the material. And this is all starting to expand. And eventually this whole thing just breaks, okay? And then the shaft comes off and it goes into the gun. And actually this gun right here, the shaft right now should be in here. And if you go like that, it drops into this little bottle here. And then you have all the shanks that it pulled like so. Pretty slick, right? Again, I've never used a rivet gun. I didn't know what to expect, and it's really not that hard. So we're all ready to do this, to put this on the speaker grill. And again, I have a 3/16 of an inch shank here. But the one thing I do want to do, and is I want to address the white here, and this kind of makes me a little nervous, but so this is the front kick plate here, and we have the kick plate artwork on, okay? Now, I did a really good job of centering this artwork on this cabinet, okay? And supposedly, this artwork is from the original Atari films, and the original Atari films had a white area, okay, in the artwork, supposedly, where the speaker grill is and where the coin door goes, okay? Now, this does not perfectly line up, and actually it's bigger than the hole. I mean, even if this was completely centered, this white oval, it still would have left some bleed here of white around it. But you could see I have this artwork completely centered left and right. So this distance of the white to the blue is the same as the distance from the white to the blue on the left and right side. So I put this artwork on right, and I've heard that a lot of people are complaining about this, right? And I've also done some research online looking at pictures of original Quantums, trying to figure out what is going on here, right? And it's weird. It's really weird. Now, when I see other people's reproduction artwork on their cabinet, I see a lot of people that have this white that you can see through the speaker grill. And it's just very strange. But on the originals, I don't see this. I don't see this white, okay? But what I do see on the originals is this white. Because when we put the coin door on here, we're going to have a little bit of white potentially poking out that it's not going to cover. And one night I sat on my iPad just looking at photo after photo of original Quantums, trying to figure out what was going on. And a lot of the original Quantums I looked at, you could see white in this left corner after you put the coin door on. But they never showed the white around the speaker grill, so I don't know what to make of it. So what I'm gonna do, and someone did recommend this in an email to me, is I'm just gonna take a Sharpie here and I'm just gonna go over the white just to kind of hide it and just make it not so obvious, okay? And I thought about this and thought about this and thought about this, but I think this is gonna really just kind of knock this down and just not make it so obvious when we put that grill on. And the thing is, I really didn't want to do this. I was thinking about just not doing it and letting the white show, but I think this is relatively safe and not very destructive. And I think it'll just kind of make that just so much more subtle. What do you guys think? Does it look okay? So this marker, I don't know if this is a good quality one. This is a Quill large permanent marker. I also have a run-of-the-mill Sharpie. I'm just gonna go over it with the Sharpie to see if it's any blacker. And it is. So now when we put the speaker grill on, I don't think we'll see any of this white. I actually kind of like the Quill one better because it's a fatter tip and it's not leaving like lines. Maybe I'll go over it one more time with this one. I think this will be just fine. Just a minor little detail that has been bugging me a lot. And I'm not kidding when I say this. I researched the living heck out of this. Just looking at as many photos of original Quantums as I could. And I kind of remember when we stripped the original art off the original cab. I do remember that there was no white on here. But that looks pretty okay. I think that's just fine what we just did there. So when we put the grill on, I don't think we're gonna see any of that. Yeah, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower the tripod a little bit. Let's kind of get in there close and do this together. So you guys ready to do some riveting? Okay, let's do this. So here's our grill. I did end up painting just one side of it, so I painted this side here, and I think it actually looks pretty good. So I'm gonna come in with the rivets and just kind of get them started in the holes. This hole here is a little loose because I drilled through it. Are these ones a little tight? No. So let's do two corners first. We'll do this one, and we'll do that one right there. Yeah, let's see if I can just get these rivets in completely. And I'll do that one last. All right, so let's take our rivet gun. I am going to put a little bit of tape over the tip of it just to make sure we don't scratch up these rivets. Just like so. And then let's expand it like that. You just want to make sure I'm pushed in all the way. All right, here we go. 1, 2, and then when it breaks, it's a little crazy. 3. All right, that looks great. Okay, let's do the next one. And I'm gonna expand this so the post, the shank drops in. And let me just take this off. I'm gonna put it in the rivet gun first. So when you spread it, it drops all the way down. I'm just gonna go like that so we get a little bit of resistance on it. And then let's stick it. It doesn't want to line up here. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna push in on the cabinet. 1, 2, and then 3. Perfect. That looks legit, guys. What do you think? Does it look good? So let's do the next one. Get some fresh tape here. And it's not scratching up the rivets at all. And it looks OG. Boy, that's tight. So there's a lot of stress on that one. I'm just gonna leave that one in. Push on the cabinet. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then let's do the last one. I'm gonna get another fresh piece of tape here. Pushing 1, pushing 2, pushing 3. Sometimes 4. There we go. All right, looks good, guys. Let's take a peek here. And the black Sharpie thing was a total success. I mean, you can't even tell that we did that. So how's it look? Rivets look legit. What do you guys think? That looks pretty good, right? Kind of back off. All right, good. So let me get the speaker, and I'm going to screw that into the back too. Okay, I went and grabbed the screws here, and I actually tumbled these. But these should be the screws that were here originally. It's a screw and a washer. And we're just going to screw it to the back wall here. And if you look in there, you can kind of see the original screw holes. And it's very odd, but so the holes are like here, 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 and here. Okay, I have the top 2 screws in, and I'm gonna just do the bottom 2 here. But that looks legit. I still think it's strange, but whatever. It just doesn't feel right to me, but I think it is exactly the way it was. It's exactly how he took it apart. All right, so the last one, I'm actually tempted not to put the last one in just because it goes through our repair. Let's just see how it feels. Because it's got to go through the wood glue. Not too bad. Okay, so our speaker is in, and hopefully we have the tabs in the right direction here. Now there's some other screw holes here. I believe those to be for the wire holders. Because you can see we have wire holders all over this thing. But the speaker is in. So, all right, that hurdle is done. So let's, I want to put the coin door together. Let's get that over with. So let me get set up here and clean up. And by the way, you can see these are all the tumbled screws right here. All the nuts and the washers and everything. I just tumbled all of them for a few days. And this is the hardware for the coin door. And really, this did a great job. Actually, let's put on the top vent grill real quick. So I did paint this, and it uses these Robertson screws right here that we tumbled, and they look like they're brand new. So let me grab my Robertson bit, and we'll throw this on. Okay, so we're gonna throw the little vent that goes on the top, and this is something that I did paint right here. Looks pretty okay. It's a little dusty, and then it takes these little Robertson security screws, which are square head screws, and they did that so people can't screw at the game on location, because most people would not have a Robertson bit, and I have one because of Johnny. That's right, Johnny in Canada gave me these at Brofest at Fun Spot. So anyway, let's come up here and let's throw this on real quick. Oh man, this is really dusty. It's amazing how dusty and how quickly it gets dusty in the garage out here. I'm gonna clean this off with some Simple Green and just wipe it down. I don't want to trap dirt underneath the grill. We do need to figure out what we're gonna do about the back door and all that. I haven't really figured that out yet. Just kind of clean up this whole area. All right, so let's try it again. And then the louvers on the grill, you know, they need to be up on the top here so that if liquid were to flow, it wouldn't flow into the cabinet. You know, if someone dumped a Coke on the top. Just kind of get all these started here, and then we'll come through and zip them in with our... So we need 6 of them, and I have exactly 6. All right, screw this in, and then we'll come back. Whoops. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these all down. And then we'll move on to the coin door. All right, guys, I have the coin door all situated here. Here's all the parts. Everything's painted and clean and ready to go. So I'm just going to go through here and just screw everything back together, take my time, do it exactly the opposite way that we did when we took it apart. And hopefully we can keep track of what's what and what goes where. But I think we can do it. We've done this many times. All right, guys, let's go.
I'm drowning in the days that we don't need. I'm waiting in my car at the dark end of your street. Open another drink. A bad idea maybe. Free down, free to go.
One thing I do want to show you guys really quick here, and I got the hinges on, and by the way, that's not fun. Those little tiny screws are bare to get to. But here's the plastic pieces. These have been soaking in Simple Green for like literally a week or more, and they look pretty good. I'm just drying them off here, getting the residue off of these, but they totally cleaned up really nice. Look like they're brand new, but there's a little bit of gunk on here. Not much. So I'm gonna clean these up, and then we'll put the paper inserts in here. And I'm gonna reuse those original ones. So I'm gonna dry these off completely, and then we'll come right back. Okay, I have the pieces all dry. I'm gonna go ahead and put the little 25 cents push to reject button in here. And I'm looking at my other coin door here. So it goes with the slot to the left of the paper, okay? And let's just kind of take a look here, make sure they're identical, and they are. I'll just make sure this is totally dry. I just got to get this to line up right. There's like a little cavity in here that the paper needs to just kind of fall into. Actually, if we do it like this, it'd be easier. Okay, there's one. Let's do the other one. So it goes like this. So this is going to go like so. There, good as new. So when these get backlit, it's going to look awesome. So, all right, I'm going to keep going here and just put this thing back together the opposite way that we took it apart. So that goes like that. And there's a couple screws in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just screw this all together, and we're gonna just keep going. the coin door is all back together, and it's looking pretty good, right? It actually looks great considering it's just spray paint. I like it, actually. I'm looking at it. It looks decent. I'll tell you this, though. It was a pain in the butt to put back together. I don't know why, but I actually had a lot of trouble getting this thing back together. The screws are just in really tight spots. But we got it all back together. It looks good. I removed the coin mech here, and maybe we'll put new ones on. But for now, the coin door is done, and I think it looks pretty sharp. The 25-cent reject things look great, don't they? Look at them. So we're all ready to put the coin door on. However, I don't want to do that just yet. I want to do the T-molding because we're going to have to put the game on its side, and the coin door is just going to flop around and stuff. So let's do the T-molding. And actually, I want to show you guys what the plan I've come up with here, okay? Because if you remember, we put laminate on the game, right? We added some vertical grade laminate on the sides, and then we put our artwork on here. So essentially, it made our cabinet a little bit thicker than the previous original size, right? And so the 3/4 inch T-molding, which was original, which I put over here, it looks good. It looks good enough, but you know, I can see the edge of the laminate here, and it's actually bothering me. So I picked up some 7/8 of an inch T-molding. Now the 7/8 inch T-molding is a 1/16 of an inch wider left and right than the 3/4 inch, which is fine on the outside because it's going to cover our little gap here. But on the inside, it's actually going to cause a lot of trouble for us because that 1/16 of an inch overhang on the inside here will actually rub. And I actually did a little test here. It actually hits the control panel, which causes trouble opening this. Also, I think the overhang is going to cause trouble for us when we want to put the glass in. So I'm thinking, I'm looking at this, I'm like, what are we going to do here? And I remembered that I picked up that quad trimmer. Okay, you guys remember this thing? The quad trimmer, the Quad Pro trimmer. And it is a trimmer designed to cut T-molding. And but I was kind of dreading using that on this game because I don't want to scratch up my side art with it. And the idea with the quad trimmer is this. It's this little device here I just dropped. But it's this little device that has these little steel blades in here, okay? And what you do is you put your molding on the cabinet and then you trim it. You trim it with this by taking this thing and just running it up and down, and it trims the overhang off with these blades that are kind of in there, okay? But if we do that, well, for one, you can't do it with the T-molding on the cabinet because it's impossible to use this in here, okay, because we're hitting the wood. It's also impossible to make this turn with it. So you have to do it on a straight edge, okay, and you got to basically make a jig in a way and just do all of it at once. And I learned this when we did the Nintendo Versus because the Nintendo Versus had a really unique offset T-molding. So anyway, I've been trying to figure out a way to do it with the Quantum here that's not going to jeopardize my artwork, okay, and that's going to give me a nice consistent cut throughout. And so I've kind of decided that I'm going to do it back here, and I have been doing it. And the one thing that I did do, instead of using both sides and going like this and dragging on our artwork over here, potentially cutting some of this side and also this side, what I did is I took it apart and I'm only using half of it, okay? And I'm only trimming the inside. And I've already cut, I don't know, about 8 feet of it or 7 feet of it so far. And it's actually working out pretty well. And why don't we go ahead and do some of it together? And I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut this entire roll down using this edge right here, the inside edge, as a guide. And basically I'm just applying the T-molding and then I'm sliding this thing up and it's just trimming the excess that's hanging off on the inside. But because we're only using one side, it's not touching the outside, which is what I want. I want the outside to be the natural T-molding width, and then the inside I want to trim it down because the inside we didn't add any material, so we need to trim that back. So I've already cut this here, so let's pull this off and we're gonna go ahead and cut the rest of it. And so I'm trying to see where my cut stops. It stops right here. So I cut up to this point here. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bring this down, okay? And you guys can see I'm just using this whole back area here as a template, if you will, to trim our T-molding. And let me get my hammer. And we're just gonna kind of lightly tack this in place, like so. And then let me show you guys up close here. You can see what we're talking about. So you can see right here, see this right here? So that's where we've trimmed it. I've trimmed everything below this. And so right here, it's a little wider, okay? And so if we come in with our cutter, like so, right? Oops. We come in with our cutter. Let's just kind of come up in here. So we come in like this. And we can, there we go. And we can trim off the excess. See it coming off there? And we'll just go all the way up. And you can see what it did there, see? And then let's just kind of take our hand here, make sure it's even all the way up and down, and it is. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and just keep pulling the roll down and trim it little by little on that back edge till I do the entire roll. And it's probably gonna take me 10 times to do it. So we've got this one here, trimmed to here. And let me take my hand here, it's all even. So let's take this off. Okay, and then I'm just gonna drag it down. Now the one thing I did notice with this cabinet that we have to consider is that the thickness of this cabinet is not consistent. I think it's thinner in the front and fatter in the back, and you know, this cabinet swelled up and took moisture, humidity, whatever, and this particle board has swollen in spots, okay? And so whatever, we're just gonna whatever's back here is what we're gonna basically feed the rest of the game. So let me go ahead and trim this here. But this is actually working really nice, just using half of it. All right. And it's nice and even. So that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of the roll just like that. And then we'll have some nice custom T-molding that is the exact width of our cabinet, taking into account the laminate that was added, and then the original on the inside. So I'm gonna keep going and we'll come back. Okay guys, I went ahead and trimmed all of the T-molding, and it wasn't too bad, honestly. It was a little annoying, but you can kind of see here, we basically made some offset T-molding, okay? So this side right here is longer, wider than this side, okay? Because you can see where we trimmed it. It's not super obvious when you look at it like this or like this, but when you look at the profile, you could see that we trimmed this side right here. So when we apply this, we got to make sure the trim side is facing the opposite direction of the laminate side. So I'm going to go ahead and put this T-molding on, and we're going to put it on exactly the same way we put the 3/4 inch. And I'm going to staple the bottom and all that good stuff. And I have a blanket down, so I'm going to put the game down on its side, and we'll just take our time here and do this. So let's go ahead, and then we're gonna have to turn the cabinet around, and we're gonna have to remove the T-molding from the other side, which is not gonna be fun because I stapled it like crazy on the bottom. But anyway, all right, let's put the T-molding on this side. Okay guys, I got the T-molding on, and it was a massive, massive, massive success. I mean, if we look here, you know, it's kind of flush to the outside here, and then on the inside it's also flush, and there's virtually no overhang at all detectable here. In spots, I can maybe feel a little bit, but it's nothing that you could see, okay? You know, I think the wood in the back just maybe a little inconsistent, not the same thickness as the front. The one thing I am noticing though is that the artwork, okay, not quite to the edge, I guess, and the T-molding is kind of pushing it. So what I've been doing, and actually this totally worked, is I've been just taking my fingernail and just running it along the edges and just kind of trimming it, and it was really bad in the back. where the T-molding kind of pushed the artwork, and I just took my fingernail and went all the way down, and it completely cleared it up. Like, absolutely cleared it up. It looks totally legit now. So I don't know if there was just a little bit of overhang because when I cut it with the X-Acto, it wasn't quite flush. I have no idea. But the fingernail absolutely worked. It just like made the little imperfections vanish and kind of either tucked the artwork underneath the T-molding or trimmed it. And I suppose you can get an X-Acto blade, but the fingernail's working just great. So I'm gonna roll with it. Like I'm doing it right here in the front. Just right here, like there's a little bit of artwork that's kind of just smushed by the T-molding, and my fingernail just kind of comes through here and just trims it. Right here, see that? And I'm just kind of going around looking, and that totally did the trick. So I'll go over it later and just kind of fine-tune the edges by taking my fingernail and either pushing the excess under the T-molding or really just trimming it with my nail, and I'm kind of just putting my nail underneath the T-molding and just sliding it down. And like I said, it's almost like it's either trimming the artwork or shoving it under the T-molding. It's funny that even works. So, all right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put the cabinet on its side, on this side, and I'm gonna go do the other side exactly the same way. I have to rip off the 3/4 inch, which isn't a giant deal, but we do have to remove it. But I'm kind of getting excited here, guys. I have to tell you, I've been putting off this T-molding, finishing the T-molding, because I was a bit bummed about the extra thickness and I wasn't sure how to handle it, and I didn't really think I was going to be able to trim the T-molding on this cabinet because I didn't want to damage the artwork, but it all worked out that we're able to trim it on the back and only use 1/2 of that quad trimmer, so I feel really good about that. And I feel really good about what we're looking at here with this T-molding. I mean, you can't even tell that we trimmed it or it's not the original thickness. I mean, it's just barely thicker, so. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side and we'll come back.
I'm a bad influence, 'cause you're no better.
Alright guys, we're done. We got the T-molding on and it looks fantastic. And my little fingernail trick absolutely 1000% works. So, like any little spots where it looks like the artwork was kind of pushed in by the T-molding, I just take my fingernail, like right up here. Like you see this right here? I don't know if you guys can see that. But the artwork's kind of a little smushed right here. And I just kind of come in here with my fingernail and it just makes it like totally flush with the cabinet. Look at that. Look at that. Hang on, I'll just do it again. It's almost like trimming the excess or pushing underneath the T-molding. So I'm gonna go through the whole cabinet and just do that with my fingernail in all the little spots that don't look quite right, because it's totally making them right. But let's look at the front here. So we could see that the T-molding here is relatively flush with the inside of the cabinet, okay? And so let's open up our control panel, make sure everything clears, okay? Because that was the concern before, because when I put the 7/8 of an inch T-molding on here before, it was overhanging so much. I did a little test that the control panel was hitting it. And here you can see we have no trouble at all. So it totally clears it. Look at that, awesome. Yeah, that really worked out great. And I'm really happy about that, guys, because I have to tell you, I really was freaking out about it because I didn't realize I was creating an issue for myself with this laminate by making the cabinet just that much thicker, you know, not a ton thicker, but enough to where it was bothering me when the T-molding was on. Now you can see down here, I think actually this area here was swollen or repaired. This actually does stick past the T-molding right here, just a little bit, but I think this is an area that we bondoed. So that's a little thicker right there. This side, the left side's okay. But this area here, I think we built up, and maybe it's just a hair thicker. You know, in general, the wood on this thing is really inconsistent across the board, but really, that looks good, guys. I feel really good about it. So let's go ahead and put the coin door on. What do you think? Woot! Okay, so let's get the coin door on. Now, the one thing we're gonna need is this right here. So this is the coin bucket holder, whatever you want to call it. It also has the coin counter, the service switch, the volume, and a credit button. The one thing to note here is that this game has 6,687 credits on the coin meter. Can you guys see that? That is like super low, like crazy low. So I don't know if that's how many plays it had when it was a Quantum and then it turned into a Double Dragon and they disconnected that. So I'm gonna guess that this is accurate for the Quantum. So that means that this game as a Quantum earned, all right, here we go. So we're gonna go half of that, which is 3,300 roughly, and then half of 3,300, which is about 1,650. So this game made $1,650 as a Quantum, assuming that's accurate, 66.87, which is not a lot. I think the operator probably lost money on this game. So anyway, so what we need to do is we need to put the coin door in and then hook this thing on the back of it, okay? And then we're gonna put the screws on. And basically the screws are these little machine screws right here and these little holder things, and these are gonna screw into the back. Now these I tumbled, and you can see they look great. They look brand new. So tumbling was definitely a major success. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the coin door in. I'm gonna go around back and hook the coin bucket holder, whatever you wanna call it, in. So the coin door is gonna go right here like so. And by the way, just look how awesome this looks. So let's see if that stays. Now, the one thing I want to point out here, and I did some research on this, okay? Look at that. You see that top left corner there? See that little piece of white right here? Now, when I put this artwork on here, it was driving me crazy because I knew that there was this white outline that wasn't lining up with the coin door or the speaker grill. And I went online and I looked at so many photos of Quantums, original Quantums. And the one thing that I saw that was common from original Quantum to original Quantum was this. So many of the original Quantum photos I looked at had the white poking out on the top left of the coin door. So that just kind of tells me that this really is from the original Atari films, and also it tells me that I put it on correctly. Now, what I didn't see on the original ones, though, was the white outline around here, which was interesting. But we kind of hid that with the Sharpie, and I think that was a success. So anyway, I'm going to go in the back here and hook on the coin box, or whatever we're going to call this thing. And it just kind of hooks onto the center here. So I'm going to carefully just hold this and open this up like so. And then we're going to basically just hook this thing on here. And then when we attach the screws and everything, it'll secure that. So that's it. So that's in. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead now and just screw these in. This is really tedious and slow. But basically, you just have to get your hands in there and just kind of make the connection here. So there's a screw hole right here. So I'm gonna go like this. And I'm gonna get my socket and we'll just tighten everything down really nice. And there's 8 of these. But it is super annoying. It's just in a really awkward spot. So I'm gonna get them all started by hand. And we might see if we can get them with my drill too. But when we get down here in the bottom, it's gonna be really tough to do. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just tighten these all up. Like I said, it's just reaching your hand in there and screwing this in on the inside, and there's 8 of these, and then we'll come back. Okay, I have the coin door on, and it was super annoying. It's weird, I was like missing 2 of the hardware pieces. I'm kind of thinking they didn't have one on the top and the bottom, but I ended up putting one on the top, one on the bottom, and then I missed 2 on the inside here. But it's everything's just totally secure, but I don't think they had one up here or here. I'm not sure. Anyway, so it's on, it looks good. So I do want to put some locks on right now because we can. So I use these locks right here. These are Illinois double bitted locks. Yeah, they're about $4 a piece. I get them at Twisted Quarter. I normally get the 3001 locks from Hap, but I can't get those anymore. They were out of them, so it looks like I'm gonna be rolling with 2 different locks in the basement now. These are 1382s. I actually bought a bunch of them because there's a few games in the basement right now that just don't have locks on them. So anyway, I'm gonna come down here and just throw some locks on, because we're pretty much done with the cabinet. We're not gonna be tilting it or putting it on its side ever again. So to put the locks on, it's pretty simple. Basically, you just wanna put the lock in, okay? You wanna take the key out, okay? Because when the key's out, it's in the locked position. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna screw the hardware on as if it's in the locked position, because that's the position it's in when the key is out. So we know that when we put this little metal guy right here on, we're gonna put it in the locked position, which is parallel with the ground, okay? So we're gonna come in here. Actually, I need to put this washer, this nut on first. I normally just hand tighten this. You can get channel locks and just kind of really tighten it a little bit more, but just screw this on. I'm gonna get my channel locks and just kind of snug it up just a little bit, but this is not hard. So let me grab my channel locks and we'll just snug it up. Just a little, again, we're not putting this on location. This is just in my basement, so I'm not really worried about someone stealing my coins, because there's gonna be no coins. It's gonna be on free play, so we'll just come in here, just snug it up a little bit. And I'll try not to scratch up the paint. And then the lock position is like this. And then we put the little screw in here. And we'll tighten that down with the screwdriver in a second here. But that's it. That's all it takes to put a lock on. And let's tighten it down. See if you guys can see what's going on here. Okay, and now we can put our key back in, okay, and so that's unlocked and that's locked, and that looks good. And by the way, I am noticing that this paint is not holding up very well, and I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if I should have put a primer on here first because we totally stripped it. But this paint is scratching very, very easily, and it's kind of bugging me here. So anyway, let's go on here and put the next one on. I think once we get in the basement, it'll be fine. But we did kind of cheapen. We did it the cheap way, right? We didn't pay for powder coating. We just spray painted it by hand. All right, so let's throw this nut on here. I really do like the locks on when they're on the game. It just really finishes it off. And I don't know why, but I think these locks look the best. And I know it's just a lock. Who cares? I do, actually. And I like having all the same locks on all my games and having as few keys as possible. Because in the beginning, when I got in this hobby, I was buying different locks every time, and I ended up with like 7,000 keys, which is just silly. You don't want that. If you're gonna get a bunch of games, you want the same key. You just want one key. You don't want to mess around with 30 keys for 30 games, especially if you're not organized and stuff like that. It's kind of easy to lose the key and then you can't get back in your game. So if you get the same locks, you'll have like 40 of the same keys everywhere. Okay, we're all done. Let's take a look here. There's that. Look at that, guys, huh? Looks legit, right? Okay, so what are we gonna do now? I think I want to put the transformer assembly inside the game. And we gotta clean this thing up, actually. It's really gross. Let's come over here and look at it. It's not too bad, but we should wipe it down a little bit. Just get all the gunk off of here. It's actually really not that bad. It's more dusty than anything. Maybe I'll fire up my compressor and we'll just blow it off really quick, and then we'll just kind of come in carefully with some simple green paper towel, wipe it down. I don't want to go too crazy on this. You know, we've got the original serial tag right here, which to me is super important. You know, this right here is the only serial number I found on the whole game. Okay, so I really don't want to ruin this. So I don't want to go crazy on here. So let's fire the compressor up and just blow it off, and then we'll wipe it down with some simple green. But really, it's not that gross. Okay, I'm just going to come in and spray this down. So I'll let my compressor build back up. It's a really small one, obviously, and we'll blow it off again. All right, let's try this again. Compressor stinks. I'm already out of air. All right, I'm gonna charge it up one more time, and then we'll just kind of wipe it down, but it already looks better just from blowing it off. All right, one last time here. All right, I'm gonna wipe it down now. And I'm just gonna just carefully just take some simple green here, and like I can see on the sticker here, there's a bunch of junk. And I'm just gonna very carefully just go through here and wipe it all down. It's really not that bad, but we can make it look a little nicer here with a little bit of elbow grease. Now, I'm not gonna replace the big blue until I'm positive I need to do something like that. This is like a big filter capacitor, and it will mess with the screen and stuff, but until I get those symptoms, we're not gonna touch it just yet. So anyway, I'm gonna keep going here and just go through this and wipe it down and make it as pretty as I can. And then we'll screw it to the bottom of the cabinet. And I don't really mind the original patina on this at all. Doesn't bother me even in the least bit. I'd rather it look like this than try to restore this. You know, this thing is some kind of plated metal, the base here, and I wouldn't even attempt to restore that. I mean, you could take it apart and spray it with what? Some gold spray paint. That would look pretty bad, I think. That would look cheesy. I'd rather have the original patina. So anyway, I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna wipe it down, and then we'll screw it to the bottom of the cabinet. Okay guys, I got it all clean, and I'm just gonna go ahead and screw it to the back of the bottom of the cabinet, and it was just held in with 4 screws. And I looked at my pole position, and it was like this, with the big blue back and the fuses right here, so I'm pretty sure that's the right spot. And we'll just line it up to the original holes and screw it in. Looks pretty clean down here, doesn't it? So let's kind of come in here and just use, and I did tumble these screws too. So let's go ahead and get the 2 corners. Let's line this up. Wow. Yeah, I could tell they only used 3 screws to hold this in. Because I was going through my screw pile, and I could only find 3 screws. And I could tell right here they did not screw it in right there. Strange. All right. I'm going to throw one more screw in. I grabbed an extra screw. They did not have a screw here for some reason, but whatever. I'll throw one in. Okay, so that's in. So now what? Well, I think what I want to do is I want to put the game back together with the marquee and everything, and just kind of look at our work, because I think we're about done in this video, guys, because really, that's it for the cabinet. I mean, it's time to start populating the guts, you know, the electronics. But let's kind of take a look here and admire our work. Just kind of come over here. But I'm going to put the marquee back on and the glass. Because, you know, I just want to stare at it. because now we're really together. I know we did this in the last video, but now we have really put this thing together here. So let me grab the metal parts, which got all dusty out here, and our marquee. I'm actually gonna wipe this stuff down real quick with some Windex or something. Everything just gets so dusty out here. Hang on. All right, I wiped everything down, and so these brackets are all held on with these little hex security screws, and there's like a little lock washer that goes underneath each one. And I did paint these and also tumbled the lock washers, but let's just kind of get this started here. There's one. Let me grab a couple more here. And I don't even know if this bulb is good. We're going to be replacing that bulb, so we're going to have to undo this eventually. So I'll just kind of... I know we did this in the last video, but you know what? I want to see it all together now because we got all the parts on, and I'm kind of excited to see it. Because really, everything's been leading up to this right here, guys. We were a little premature in the last video. This one's stripped. Let's see if we got another screw. Doesn't want to go in. There we go. I don't like that. Why is that behaving that way? The battery's dying on this thing. All right, whatever. I'm gonna worry about that one later. Let's get the top one. And we'll just put that one on hand tight here. So I'm gonna go ahead here and just tighten these all down by hand, and then we'll put the glass on, and then we will admire our work. What do you guys think? I want to show you guys, I'm really trying to get this one screw in here, and it will just not go in. And I'm thinking that the whatever's threaded on the inside here is just totally stripped. And I'm just trying to do it by hand with an Allen key. And it goes in about this far, and then it's like just tremendous resistance. So I don't know, there's something up with that. We might have to replace that. I don't know if there's some kind of a little threaded insert or something. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to push my luck with it by going too hard with it on there. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just put the top screws in, and we'll come right back. Okay, I have them all kind of in. It's funny that these top ones seem stripped too. The center one I'm able to tighten all the way to the bottom by my hand, and these ones on the ends here are kind of really behaving like they're stripped. But I don't know. We'll worry about that later. But let's put the piece of glass in here. I did kind of Windex this, but this is kind of tricky to put in. So let's put the glass channel on, like so. And this kind of goes like this. And then we got to get this to slide in here. This is really tricky, so let's try it like this. And then slide this guy. This is a weird design here. Let's see. Like this. There we go. This glass has some scratches on this side. We might have to turn it around. Okay, so guys, let's take a look here. How do we do? I mean, that is a fully assembled quantum cabinet. Look at that. That looks good. It looks great. It looks right. I'm just gonna kind of just Windex this stuff real quick. Oh my God, I'm so excited, guys. I mean, the hard part, I think, is over. All that's left now, well, actually, we do have a big hurdle here because we have to fix a monitor. We have a 6100 that I don't know what's wrong with it, and hopefully we can fix it. And once we fix that monitor, we're basically done. We're home free, because I do have a working PCB. We'll talk about that in the next episode. We'll put it in here in the power supply and everything else. But let's just kind of admire our work here. And again, let's think about what this thing looked like before, okay? Let me show you guys a before. I mean, my God, look at this. What a difference. We have saved Quantum. Look at it. It is back from the dead, guys. Look at this thing. Just look at this cabinet. This has to be, honestly, one of the greatest looking arcade games of all time. I am not kidding here, okay? I mean, just look at this thing. Everything looks so good, too. I'm really proud of the work here, guys. I mean, considering how we started with this game, this just looks top notch. I mean, yeah, we had some hiccups. Like that right there. You know, I'm not losing sleep over that, okay? Because everything else is so good. And you know what? That's my little scar that John put on. I know this is my game because I did this. So anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. You know, next video, guys, could we finish this in the next video? I think we almost could, maybe, I don't know. Maybe 2 more videos and we're done, I think. But my God, look at this thing. So, all right, guys, let's go back down to the basement. My God. All right, guys, there you have it. That was part number 9 of the Atari Quantum Restore. So how did we do? I'll tell you what I think. I think we did a great job. That cabinet is sick, guys. It looks so good. I keep going out there and looking at it. I cannot believe that we're finally done with that cabinet. And really, I can't believe what it used to look like and what it looks like now. I'm very proud of the work we have done in this video series, and I cannot wait to play Quantum in that cabinet. You know, that might happen in the next video, by the way, because we have to rebuild that 6100, and that's really going to be about it. So anyway, all right, let's do some viewer mail here. I printed some out. If you guys want to participate in the viewer mail, you got to email them to me at blkdog7@gmail.com. That's blackdog7@gmail.com. In the subject line, you got to put viewer mail. So blkdog7@gmail.com. Subject line, viewer mail. Okay, first one here is from August. Says, hey John, I have noticed in your Quantum and Jump Bug Restore videos that you installed a laminate onto the cabinet before putting the side art on. However, this didn't apply to the Journey, as you painted and primered the cabinet as well as the blue paint that goes over the primer before installing the art. Yeah, well, we did paint the Journey, okay? And in hindsight, you know, if I were, you know, if I knew what I know now, then I would have put laminate on the Journey. However, finding that blue color would have been a bit of a challenge, I believe. But, you know, at the end of the day, the Journey came out great. I mean, the paint looks amazing on here. But, you know, if I had to do it all over again, I probably would seek out laminate. But really, this is the best paint job I've ever done in my life, mostly because I wet sanded it. I sanded the living heck out of this till it was smooth, and that made all the difference in the world, and it really does look like laminate, but it's paint. But I don't know, if I did the Journey again, I probably would do laminate. I'm not sure. Because originally, it had like this almost like vinyl or something on it. So I don't know. But anyway, going on here, he says he's doing a pole position 2 restore. And I've also been thinking for some time whether I should paint the cabinet or install a laminate before the side art on. Also, if I require laminate, where should I get it from? Thanks for your time, August. So I guess he's asking, should he put laminate on his pole position before putting the artwork on? Well, you saw me do it in this video series with Quantum, okay? And I think it was a success. Now, the reason I really wanted to do it in this video series was because there was so much Bondo work on that Quantum. And I was really worried that all those imperfections and repairs that we did were gonna show through the artwork, okay? And so the laminate really gave us this perfect surface that covered everything, and that side art went on buttery smooth. Now, however, though, we did make the cabinet a little bit thicker than it was originally, and you saw in this video here, we had to cut down the T-molding so that we had kind of custom offset T-molding to kind of make up the difference for the extra thickness that we added with the laminate. So I guess, you know, if your cabinet isn't hosed too much, You could just try painting it and then putting the artwork on, or you could try to do what Atari did, is just put the artwork right directly on the naked particle board. So, I don't know, August, am I helping you? Am I answering your question here? I mean, the laminate is pretty good, you know, but it does create new problems that you have to overcome, in particular the T-molding. Now, we didn't really have that issue with the jump bug for whatever reason, but I did have it with the Quantum. Actually, the jump bug was an oddball T-molding, and I think I put T-molding that's actually too wide, but the wider T-molding didn't affect anything as far as the control panel and the back door, which was happening with the Quantum. So anyway, August, I would say go for the laminate, but again, just be prepared to do some custom T-molding like we did in the video here. Next one's from David. Hey John, I'm a recent subscriber to your YouTube channel, and I've been binge watching your shows for the last few days. I especially enjoy the gameplay episodes. We are all rooting for you. I'm still wondering why the swarm of bees never started chasing you in Paperboy like it does in 720. Yeah, I guess in Paperboy, if you go really slow, the bees will come out to make you go faster. So you can't really just linger in Paperboy. And it could be a dip switch setting on mine, because I haven't seen the bees really many times on Paperboy at all. But on 720, I always see those bees, because I stink at that game. Anyway, my current collection is a stand-up cabinet multicade, iCade 61, and a dedicated stand-up APB. I used to have an APB, actually. It was in my garage. It was a buddy of mine's. He left it here for a few months, and I was playing that thing all the time. I used to love APB when I was a kid. That was a cool little game, almost like a Grand Theft Auto-ish. You know, remember the original Grand Theft Auto, which was like top down? It was kind of like that, where you're driving a car around town and chasing bad guys and stuff. I don't know. APB was pretty cool. And they're always missing the chair. If you guys ever noticed that, there's like this little metal seat that kind of goes in, and it's always missing it. Anyway, I plan on starting the process of getting my APB fixed. The startup screen comes on, but it's unable to clear the RAM codes, and the screen turns blue or scrambled. I hope someone here on Long Island can eventually help me out with this. Thanks for rekindling my love of these games and hobby. Keep up this good work. Sincerely, Dave. So Dave's not really asking a question here, but it sounds like your APB has some issues. You know, I don't know if you've tried fixing it yourself. You know, always start with the simple things first. You know, the voltages, check your 5 volts at the board, and also reseat ROM chips and check all your connections. You know, I fixed so many games just doing those 3 things. You know, voltages, reseating ROMs or socketed chips, and then also just reseating connectors. So, Dave, I would certainly try that stuff first before you seek anyone else out, because that's all very simple stuff. And good luck with your APB. That is definitely a fun game. You don't see APBs too often, I mean. I don't see them very often. Anyway, the next one here is from Harold. Hi, John. I'm a longtime viewer, but first-time emailer. I've been looking into getting a John's Arcade t-shirt, but I guess I missed out on the opportunity to do that. Are there t-shirts available? Right now, I'm not running a t-shirt campaign. I might do one later this summer. I don't know. If there's enough interest, we'll do it again. Last year, I did it twice, and so it's been... Wow, it's been about 7 months, I think, since we did the last t-shirt campaign. So if you guys want me to do another t-shirt, let me know. So, email me at blkdog7@gmail.com, and if there's enough interest, I'll do it again. And I actually have an idea for a shirt. My buddy Scoots is working on it, so I actually have to ping him. So we might be doing that soon. He says, I liked your visit to Grinker's Arcade here in Idaho, as well as your other great videos. Keep up the great work. Harold Holmeyer from Boise, Idaho. So, Harold, thank you very much. And again, if you guys want me to do another t-shirt run, let me know. Leave a comment below or something. Because I don't know, have you guys all bought t-shirts? But the next shirt I'm going to do, I think it's going to be completely different than anything we've done before. So, it's going to be a fun shirt, I think. So, next one is from Scott. By the way, I printed 4. I was in the mood to do 4 today. This one's from Scott. John, how are things going with your RetroPie? It's going. Where is my RetroPie? Where did I put it? Huh. Are you going to do a follow-up video? Yes, I am, and we'll talk about that in a second here. Are you playing it as much as you thought you would? No, I'm not, actually. I haven't really touched the RetroPie at all since we did the last video. Doesn't mean because it's a bad product. I just haven't had time to sit down and just play games on it. Have you played one emulator substantially more than the others? Based on the comments posted on your original video, I downloaded Recall Box because it includes Kodi. It's also based on Emulation Station. I saw it on Raspberry Pi 1B Plus I already own. Unfortunately, it just wasn't powerful enough, so I upgraded to 3, and it's working great. So far, I've been playing mostly at Nintendo 64 games, but I'd like to relive the Atari games of my youth. I use my main cabinet for traditional arcade games. Looking forward to the BroFest video. So Scott, I'll tell you the truth. Like I said, I really haven't been using the RetroPie at all. I haven't. I haven't done it. You know, I haven't plugged it in. I haven't played with it. It's just been, it's over there somewhere in the basement here. But we are going to be revisiting the RetroPie because I got something here that's very cool. And this might actually really give me a real purpose for the Raspberry Pi, more so than the Retro Console, okay? So this right here is a Raspberry Pi to JAMA adapter, and I'm very excited to try this out. This gentleman down in Australia makes these. He sells them on Clove, and basically the Raspberry Pi is going to go here. This is going to plug into it, and then we have a JAMA connection right here that's going to basically dump the video, the audio, the sound, and all that into the JAMA harness. It's going to grab 5 volts from the JAMA harness, and I'm very, very excited to see how this goes, okay? And we'll be doing this soon, hopefully in the next week or two here. I kind of want Adam to come back, and I want him to do kind of a part 2 of our Raspberry Pi video. So I'd like to do this with him. So when he's available, I'll have him come over, and we'll install this in my Capcom Street Fighter cabinet over there, and I'm really excited to try this because CPS2 games are going to be great, I think, with this. I'll put Teddy Boy Blues on here and Tetris, you know, because I always swap the boards on my CPS cabinet over there. So how badass would it be to have all those boards on this and have a nice menu and stuff? So I'm very excited to try this. So we'll be doing this soon, and we will indeed be revisiting the Raspberry Pi. And then also, I did get this in the mail last week too. And guys, this is my Dexter, okay? And so this is the production board. It has a nice silkscreen Dexter logo on the back. So I got this in the mail last week, and guys, we're gonna be bringing Firefox down here because this is a laser disc replacement, okay? And right now my Firefox has no laser disc player because Franz has been fixing mine for over a year, and so I think it's just time to move on, and we're gonna use the Dexter, and I'm very excited because that Firefox has been out there for a while, and this is going to bring it back to life, and it's a beautiful game. It's an amazing shape. So I think we just put this thing in there and hook it up and turn it on, and if it works, it's coming right down here. And I think the dartboard's going to leave, and we're going to put the Firefox over there. What do you guys think about that? Is that a good or a bad idea? So yes, we have some fun stuff coming up here in the videos. And of course, we have to get back to the Quantum. I need to rebuild that 6100 and put the game back together. I think the Quantum will be done in probably 2 more videos. So anyway, and yes, we will be getting to that BroFest video, guys. I need to find the time to kind of come down here and edit that video. You know, the weather's so nice. I don't want to be down here right now. I want to be outside doing stuff. Like right now, I'm excited to just go in the garage and hook up the Dexter board. But anyway, yes, that video is coming. Of course, I have to thank everyone that came to the event and made it the awesome event that it was. I think we had like 160 people registered. It was an amazing turnout and a great, great tournament. So we'll be talking about that very soon in the next couple of weeks here. Anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe, like, tell your friends, and then also check out my podcast, Video Game Outsiders, at videogameoutsiders.com, Arcade Outsiders at arcadeoutsiders.com, and You Suck Show at yousuckshow.com. And then also check out my other YouTube channel, which is called John Sucks at Video Games. Just go to youtube.com/John Sucks at Video Games. On that channel, I cover modern gaming, and also do some kind of like PC tech videos. So if you like this stuff, I guarantee you'll like it. Go to youtube.com/John Sucks at Video Games. And then also check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/BLKDOG7. I try to stream 1 or 2 times a week modern games on there. So that's a lot of fun. So anyway, that's it, guys. I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Later, and bye.